Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome. It's good to see you all. I know that Yo Mama apparently is streaming. Somebody told me. I don't care. I have a lot of stuff to do today, so I just want to do this and keep it moving. So we're going to have a little bit of a change in programming because Kalari went on a damn rage today because she's not bothered and she doesn't care. So I thought we might take a look at some of that. Hey, Anna, Crochetter Game, good to see you guys. And something very interesting happened to her stream. Her stream got taken down. Hey, Amber, it got taken down for policy violations for like a few seconds, like maybe what, 10, 20 seconds? Exactly what happened to me yesterday. What a coincidence. Hey, Weezen. Hi, Vicky. Hey, Pressure. So somebody out there is making mischief. Somebody is up to something. Hi, Lucille. I wonder who that somebody could be. I wonder who that troll was in her chat. Don't look at me. I don't want her streams taken down. I want to use them as content. And why would I report her stream? She didn't say anything about me, so why the hell would I report it? And I wouldn't report it anyway. But anyway, yeah, so what a coincidence that first my stream came down for like, what, 20 seconds, and then Kalari's stream came down today. How fascinating. Thank you, Lucille. I appreciate that. So, I guess we might as well get going because she's so full of anger and she is so completely, hey, Nietzsche. She is so, like, not accepting reality at this point and so completely incapable of taking accountability that I find it very amusing. But I just wanted to start with a couple of things before that. So I don't know how many of you guys saw, but apparently Yaba decided to tweet at me because I was mocking the fact that she and Sam have had to downgrade. They had to move out of the McMansion into a much smaller house with far fewer bedrooms. And it's not a very impressive place. Let's just put it that way. And she's like, oh, you're living in an old house that's soaked in pee. I don't know where the hell she got that idea, but I'm not. But anyway, and she lives in a brand new house. Yeah, it's a fucking Cracker Barrel house, or not Cracker Barrel, but it's like a doll house. It's really, really tiny. Okay. And I'm not impressed. I wasn't impressed with the house. I wasn't impressed with the kitchen that looks like it's the size of a postage stamp. I wasn't impressed with the cabinetry. The bathrooms are old looking. The showers look very, very cheap, and I'm very familiar with those types of showers. I've seen them before, and I know how little they cost. And what's meant to be a backyard is full of soil. So I'm not impressed. And then she's like, and I'm about to get my own place. With what money, Yaba? You think you're going to apply for a mortgage? You think you're going to qualify for a mortgage? Have you applied for a mortgage in the past 5 years? I am pressing X to doubt. Oh, yeah, that's right. And you're renting. You're renting. Everything in your life is rented. You don't own anything. But sure, you're better than me. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell your cat lady audience how much better you are than me? By all means, just keep on rubbing that in. I am so hurt, Yaba. And there was something else that I wanted to bring up. Oh, this is important. So nobody asked, but I am going to offer up my opinion. Yeah, Karma did come to visit Yaba and Sam, Lucille. But see, the thing is that when the COVID shut-in money started to trickle in less frequently, and they were exposed for who they really are, which is something that we knew. Some of us knew for years exactly who they are and what kind of people they are and the kind of things that they engage in both on and offline. Then the income dropped a lot. I've looked at your views, Yaba. I am not impressed. All right. Your channel is not growing. All right. You're still stuck at around what, 30,000? You've been at 30,000 for how many years now? The channel isn't growing, and I would not be surprised to find out that you're buying subs. I think that you've lost a lot more subs than what we're seeing publicly. And I'm positive that you're not positive. I mean, I can't say for a fact, but I am fairly certain. And by the way, guess what happened? They decided to try to fuck with my expert witness, Sam, Nikki P, the support group, and it didn't turn out the way they hoped. But I knew that they were going to do that. And my lawyer knows, and the expert witness obviously knows, and I knew it because they can't help themselves. And this will be coming up again soon. Soon, don't worry. It'll come up again soon. And I, for one, have been trying to figure out why it is that Sam and Owl have such a huge hate boner for me, particularly. What is it about me that they're so mad about? And I think I know what it is. I think that they have something in common. It's just a theory. But like I said, I think I know what it is. Let's just say that with the way that they are both fixated on my relationship with Negs and trying to follow or like read tea leaves and follow all the ups and downs, and they keep on predicting that it's over, and the way Owl got into my DMs and was like concerned trolling about my relationship and, oh, you know, this is going to happen and that's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. I would say that there's a certain element of wishful thinking there. And I can tell you that I have never been that invested in the relationship of people that I don't know. But, like I said, they have something in common. So, anyway. Also, I have one thing to say, not that anyone asked, but I figured I'd give my opinion on the FFG Chantal thing, okay? I will never, under any circumstances, no matter who is being targeted, I will never, ever, ever come out on the side of a stalker. Never. Never. NEVER ____. I will never, ever support a stalker. I will never support anyone who goes IRL and torments people's families and calls people's families or goes after people's families or tries to get people's families jammed up for something that their relative does. I will never do that. Never. And Frenchie is a stalker. Frenchie's obsession with Chantal and her family and Salah's family, and the way that she says that she drives back and forth in front of Chantal's mother's house. Honestly, oh, she did, Artem? Gee, I wonder why I would be against her. I can't imagine. Could it be all the lies that she tells on her channel? Maybe that's it. Hi, Gata. How are you? Owl, you're a fucking liar. That's why I don't like you. Because you're a fucking liar. And you think I don't know what you were doing when you got into my DMs and you were trying to convince me that I'm better than this and I shouldn't be with him and blah, blah, blah. Owl, you really think that I was born yesterday? You think I just fell off the back of a truck? Are you kidding? I keep on having to remind people that I grew up in Washington, D.C. I worked in Washington, D.C., which is full of some of the most devious scumbags on the face of the earth. I am used to dealing with professionals who run ops, professionals who lie and get paid handsomely to lie for a living. You think that an amateur like you is going to pull the wool over my eyes? You've got another thing coming. Keep dreaming, bitch. Keep dreaming. Anyway. So, leave me the fuck alone before I start long form reporting your channel too for the lies that you've told. Because I am sick of your shit, and I've been sick of your shit for months, and I've asked you to back off, and you refuse to do it. So, anyway, let's go ahead. Yeah, and Frenchie is horrible. She's horrible. I think that Frenchie is deeply mentally ill. The way she talks about how, oh, YouTube's not going to kick her off because of all the money she makes. Are you fucking kidding? Frenchie, you're nobody. Do you remember when Leafy lost his channel? Leafy, who had millions and millions of subscribers, lost his channel. And he lost it like this? You think YouTube could give a single solitary fuck about you and the pennies that you bring in for the company? They don't. They don't care about you. You're nothing. Nobody in this community is anything. We're all like specks when it comes to YouTube. I'm sorry, having what, 30-something thousand subscribers is not a big deal. And no matter how much you make in super chats and all that, it's a fraction of what other people are bringing in. And let me tell you something. There is a lot of drama going on at Twitch. And what we're seeing now, if the reports are correct, and obviously I have no way of verifying it, but I am seeing some very interesting reports about how there is currently an adpocalypse taking place at Twitch, just like what happened on YouTube. And on YouTube, it happened because of PewDiePie, because of an actual huge creator, you know, a real one. And over at Twitch, Hassan Piker, it could bring the entire app down single-handedly because they refuse to get him under control. Because I think that he is their biggest streamer at the moment, and everybody is against him. Everyone. And everyone is dogpiling Twitch's CEO for not applying TOS fairly and equitably. Everybody has come out against him. Some Ordinary Gamer, Keemstar, The Willie Mac Show, all the commentary bros. You know, obviously Ethan Klein is having his moment in the sun. So is Destiny. They're all on top of it, and they are all coming for him and all of their combined communities. And a lot of these people are tagging advertisers. And I believe that somebody said that really the last big advertisers that are left on Twitch are all somehow connected to Amazon, which owns Twitch. So that would make sense. And it's possible that Amazon could keep Twitch afloat single-handedly. But if I were a content creator on Twitch, no matter what the size, if you are making any amount of money on Twitch and you do not want, I stand Mudahar too. I think he's amazing. Weezin. I love Mudahar. If you are a content creator on Twitch, then I strongly advise you to get in touch with the trust and safety team, which is neither, from what I understand, and say that you want Hassan gone because you don't want to lose your income. You remember what happened during Adpocalypse on YouTube. A lot of people lost their income, and a lot of people saw their income drop dramatically because of that mess with PewDiePie. Now, whether you agree with the way that PewDiePie was raked over the coals and the Wall Street Journal piece and all of that stuff, it's irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the advertisers. And if Twitch starts losing more big advertisers, blood is going to run in the streets. So Hassan has to go. He must go. He must go, or Twitch is going to go under. Something very major is going to happen at Twitch. And the and it's not just, and for anybody who's like, oh, it's because of Israel, Palestine. No, it's because Hassan has platformed actual terrorists on his channel and puffed them up and made them out to be like, you know, little fluffy Care Bears, and talked about how cool they are and how relatable they are. He has played actual terrorist propaganda on his channel. What he calls the Houthi music video. Hassan, you are so stupid that you don't realize that Al-Shabaab and ISIS have made similar videos with the music and, their guys looking like brave warriors out there shooting guns and looking, very tough and all that. They're propaganda videos. They're made for the purpose of recruitment. And now they're hoping that more useful idiots like you, Hassan, are going to play them on your channels for your very, very young audience. So even if you want to take the whole Israel-Palestine thing out of the equation, Twitch cannot be associated with a content creator who brings on a goddamn terrorist to blow smoke up their butt and act as their PR agent. It was not an interview. If you saw that mess with that Houthi pirate, it was not an interview. Okay, Hassan is not a journalist. Hassan is a propagandist. So, and also people are really pissed because they're saying, wait a second, why aren't the terms of service being applied equitably? And nobody is angrier than Destiny. He's furious, and I don't blame him. I think that he's right. He should be angry. All right, so let's go ahead and get to Kalari because this was really something. It was so completely lacking in self-awareness that I got a kick out of it. So let's bring this up. I'm not going to give her any advice because she doesn't listen. I don't know who this woman is. Some co-host of Kalari's, and I don't care who she is. But okay, let's go.
Made the decision that I want to walk away from a lot of toxic. And we're going to get into that really quick, but I want to say hello to everybody who's joining us today first.
Okay, let's get
Here's
past...
that they want to enjoy. Of sneaking away because you don't want to look...
Wait.
As they appear. But this cast has to separate itself from Girl World. And I want to be 100% transparent to why. Because I feel like that's lacking in that community.
Oh.
And I feel like I earned the right to say that it's lacking in this community.
Oh, okay.
I feel I have the right to say that people play games a bit too much. People take things to levels that shouldn't be taken to.
Really?
They accuse others who just want to enjoy content of things because you're used to a standard of harassment, of doxing, of making people choose between creators that they want to enjoy, of sneaking away because you don't want to look bad for associating the people. I have literally seen it all these last couple of days, and that last night just reinforced to me why I can't be a part of this community.
Oh, okay.
There are way too many judgmental people in Girl World.
Oh, you just figured this out. You just figured this out. How do you think people in that community make money? This is like a huge revelation for you, that too many people in Girl World are judgmental. That's how they make their money, by judging other people. You didn't notice that? You didn't think that the content that they create, it doesn't ring a bell? Okay, fine.
And not just the reactors. There are way too many people who want to gameplay and destroy people's channels for fun. There are way too many people who home monitor and pocket watch and take stuff that people... I've left everything, and I will leave all of my Girl World stuff up. I have no shame in what I've done in Girl World.
You should.
While people want to use that whole, I'm just giving you what people give to Chantel, because when I challenge them to find anywhere where I've doxed Chantel, where I've tried to pry into her personal business, like some people have, where I've gone after other reactors in such a way, nobody can come with those receipts, but they don't care.
Okay, yeah, but Kalari, this is what I'm talking about with the lack of self-awareness. You gave money to creators who did that, and not just to Chantal, to other creators. You gave money to Frenchie and Sam and Yaba. You were out there freely super chatting while they were doing those exact things to other people. Not just Chantal. Frenchie being the worst when it comes to Chantal, but Sam and Yaba go IRL on a regular basis. They are stalkers. They are harassers. They are Sam is a CPS caller. They drag people to court under false pretenses. They commit perjury under oath. They try to take away people's incomes. They issue ultimatums. They dox their audience or their customers. They pocket watch. They try to destroy other people's businesses, both in real life and online. And you rewarded them for that. You loved that. That was one of the things that you really enjoyed about their communities. And now you're sitting here whining like, oh my God, there's gambling going on at Rick's bar. Are you kidding? This woman she's irredeemable. She really is.
Some of them want to say, we're just doing this to defend Chantel. That's your choice. I could never. But some of yous are hell-bent on just turning Girl World into World War III. And this was supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be grown people who take somebody who puts their content up there, whether she's talking about shitting herself more than once, harming herself with food, and pretending like she is on some kind of lifestyle change, faith path, and all that other garbage, and calling it out for what.
Okay, what part of it was fun for you, Kalari? What part of it was fun? Was it fun when Frenchie went after Chantal's mother? Was it fun when Music Biz Marty came into the community to torment Chantal's family? Was it fun when Sam interviewed a deeply mentally ill man who ended up getting a 5150 and she made merch out of it? Was it fun when Sam and Yaba doxed their customers? Was it fun when Sam called the dildo's mother in a nursing home? Tell me exactly when I'm supposed to start enjoying this. I warned people. I said, this is Drama Community 2.0. I hope you all enjoy yourselves. And that is exactly what's happened. And now people are discovering, oh my God, it sucks here. It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen because some people don't know when to quit. And those were the people that you were the biggest fan of. And those were the people you gave money to. You rewarded them for that behavior. You rewarded them. And then you tried to be the parasite on the bigger channels to get their audiences by behaving just as badly. Maybe you didn't pick up the phone and call people. You know, maybe you didn't dox, people who donated to you or whatever, but you rewarded people who did that. And now you're sitting here like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Stop it.
But it is. Some of yous have shown nothing but envy. Some of yous have shown nothing but outright jealousy. Some of yous are straight up pick-me's, whether you want to hear it or not.
Can we just discuss this jealousy issue? Where does Kalari get the idea that anyone is jealous of her? When has anyone ever given you an indication that they are jealous of you, Kalari? Name one thing that you have that other people are so desperately wanting to get that they're willing to like go after you or criticize you. Criticism is not jealousy, Kalari. It's not fucking jealousy. What are you talking about? The only thing that you have that I think is really cool are those beautiful floors in your house. Besides that, there is nothing that you have that I want. And I think I speak for a lot of people. This arrogance, this weird sort of... And Jan is like that too, and so is Bridget. They're all like that. It's like, oh, they're just jealous. Jealous of what? Could you please be more specific? Tell me what I am meant to be jealous of. Oh, actually, she did say that, she did mention my inability to give birth to children. I'm not jealous of your ability to give birth to a kid, Kalari. All right? I'm not. And it was a cheap low blow for you and for Jan to bring that up and to try to use it as a gotcha against me. You're disgusting. You think that in a community full of women, there aren't other women who have gone through infertility, or that you're going to come at me because I'm a member of a blended family? How many people in the community are step parents or foster parents or adoptive parents who listen to that mouth of yours, form those words, or they read what you write in chat? And the same thing with Jan, who are going to come along and say, God, fuck you. Fuck you. Who do you think you are, you nasty bitch? So no, it's really sick.
And the people you're running errands for don't give a fuck about your channels either. And all I got to do is continue on stuff that helps me feel joyful and happy.
Good.
Like I said, I've got so much good on the horizon, and I don't need this toxic. I also don't need to be told who I can enjoy. There'll be a lot of content creators from this point on where you'll see a like from me. You'll see continued membership if you have memberships allowed. But what you won't get is that socialization that I was building up to.
Nobody cares, Kalari. The only reason that people wanted you in their chats was to donate money. You were an ATM for people. Nobody gives a fuck if you're in chat, chatting away, participating. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. All they want is your money. That is it. And you learned the hard way. I really don't care. You had it coming.
People act like I was in Girl World forever. That's the thing that tripped me out. Next month will mark my fucking year in Girl World. Yet in the space of less than a month, I have felt all the toxic stuff that people who were constantly in my ears via either DMs or Discords telling me, don't associate with these people, they're toxic.
Yeah.
Now they get to tell me they told me so.
That's right.
I'll allow that much. But what I wasn't going to allow was lies on my name, which garnered me being called angry.
You are
Garnered
angry.
Me being called a liar.
You are a
about
liar.
My lived experience with my mental health. Garnered me being told that if I associate with anybody again, people will distance themselves from me. And I'm 47 years fucking old. I do not like being told who I can associate with and who I...
Did you hear that, Jill? She's 47 years old and she doesn't like being told who she can and cannot associate with. You need to take that to heart, Jill. You shouldn't be on your channel issuing ultimatums. You see, I can issue an ultimatum because I've had these bitches come for me in real life. All right? My family has been stalked by some of these people. And so I have a right to sit here and say, if you've supported these people, if you've given them money, if you've been a member of their community, or if you're still a member of their community, then I don't want you anywhere near me because I don't want people around me who reward people who stalk us, who have tried to harm our businesses, who took our channels down. This is IRL stuff. This is real life stuff, Kalari. This is not internet bullshit like what Jill is all worried about, okay? But if you're just talking about people going from chat to chat to chat and you spot somebody in a chat of a content creator that you don't like, that you then have to call them out the way Jill did. People don't like that. These are grown people who don't like being told what to do. This is not Hassan Piker's 12-year-old audience. You know, this is not a Minecraft community, you know? This is a community of largely middle-aged people who don't like being bossed around by strangers on the internet. So cut it out.
I can't. I don't like the feeling that if I allow somebody in my chat, it's an automatic declaration of war against another reactor. I did not want this. I do not want this. And I am sick of this. One of the things when y'all tried to say that I lied about helping out my in-laws. And
Oh, God.
I had somebody who didn't know me from the jump. Has no real stake in things. Go back because everything's online and compile. Countering the narrative that there wasn't animals here once, that I didn't clearly put that I was doing this for my then boyfriend's parents, now my in-laws. But nobody wanted to hear that, so they moved the goalpost to, oh, I have too many funders. Nobody put money in my pocket for any of those funders, but y'all want to be mad at that. I can't stop you. I was okay with people who are like, she fundraises too much, we can't trust her. But then you allow lies about my weight loss, about my health, about everything else, including this year, which I'm going to say once again, because I know people are going to snipe. I know people are still going to try to use my name for content. I'm never going to give you the free promotion that you keep giving my channel.
What promotion?
But in January, after a bout of disgustingness in December that led to hypocalcemia that I am still taking medication for. I showed the bags of crap that I have to lug with me to the doctors every time on Jan's panel. I put up a PayPal funder. I did it because at that time I had 700 people who had followed me because they watched not only the Bonnie Chronicles, but they knew me from YouTube, which I had on lockdown. So only people that could see whatever I posted while on lockdown followed me. All of it's still on my Twitter timeline.
You know, the funny thing is she's got Bridget's idiotic video pulled up here. Speaking of Bridget, Bridget has a weird tendency to develop these obsessions with people online whom she's never met, and she accuses them of all kinds of things. And then, if she really gets her hooks into you, she starts stalking you, the way she did to me. And she continues to spread the lie that I lost my job in 2021 and that I was not employed in 2022. Now, obviously, hey, Kiss, the best way for me to counter that lie is to post my tax returns. And I will be goddamned if I'm going to post my fucking tax returns so that I can get a win over a loser like Bridget. There's no way I'm going to do that. But she claimed that my degree was fake. She claimed I didn't go to Brown. Then she claimed I didn't have a degree. And then she embarrassed herself by admitting that she spent 90 hours researching, you know, my educational background. And she ended up with egg on her face. And it was really embarrassing for her. Does she ever admit she's wrong? No. Then she finds another thing. She was circulating the deed to this house to people on the internet. She was trying to get a gotcha. She's crazy. She's psycho. She is an actual stalker. She's nuts. She's done that to Yo Mama. She's done that to a bunch of other people. She is unhinged. Right? So, like I said, I could clear all of that up by showing my tax returns, but I'm not going to fucking do it. Why? Because of Bridget? No, I'm not going to do that. It was enough that I showed the response to my resignation email, and that was it. The end. And Bridget knows that I was employed in 2022. She knows that because she was stalking my job. She was doing that too. And she knew that I was still producing pieces for VOA in 2022. And she knew because she was watching the replays of the show that I worked on YouTube. She knew that I was doing the voiceovers and I was still doing TV packages and all that. She can see that with her own two eyes. But she continues to push this lie because she's out of her fucking mind. She is a stalker. So, people are crazy. People are fucking crazy. And a lot of what she was doing was to impress Tragic, and look at how that turned out.
But people don't care about facts. I was not fully known that well in girl world. I was known in chats by people, but they had told me, you never told us you had a channel because I didn't feel right advertising.
Oh, sure.
And I will maintain that. No matter what your favorites try to say about that. I did not use anybody. And it wasn't until March of this year that Chantel, deciding to listen to somebody who claims to have her back, but only wants to see herself destruct fast too, jumped on, made that community tab post, and tried to ram me with just superficial nonsense. Stuff that I didn't really care about because it was coming from that source. I thought it was funny. People gave me shout outs, the channel blew up, and I tried my best to keep up the pace. I dedicated Saturdays to the Saturday Bonnet Live, where I was going to have fun calling out her and anything else I seen, interspersed with music and fun and things that got people wanting to watch. It was a fun time.
Okay.
I am not a victim of any creator.
Okay.
I don't harbor any more.
Then stop talking about it.
At this point, to everyone.
Hey, Kassia.
Right now. It's going to take me a while to even suss out who I even want to watch and support that I'm not already. If you're new, I'll definitely give you a chance to watch you, but I'm not going to interact the way I used to because I've seen too much shit. And when Pix says her stuff, because she's dealt with a lot of shit too. Sock accounts, doxing, trying to go after my neighbors and family. This is the standard of girl world that you want to keep uplifting?
Yes, Kalari. All the people that you were donating to were doing that to people. Didn't you notice? Didn't you notice Sam's fondness for calling people's relatives? for calling elementary schools, for calling local businesses, for sucking up to people in a town that she doesn't live in to dig up dirt on people she doesn't like? Did this not register with you that there was something wrong with that? Doxing customers? Calling an elderly lady in a nursing home to talk about that lady's daughter? None of this registered with you. It didn't penetrate up here that there was something very wrong with it. No, you obviously enjoyed it because you donated money for them to keep on doing it. You showed your support by being in their chats, by joining their memberships, and by donating super chats. Don't act brand new, Kalari, all right? We all know what you were doing. We know it, and we know that you were in those communities at a time when things were getting completely out of control. You were in Frenchie's community when she was hooking up with Music Biz Marty and encouraging him to go after Chantal's mother and all of that stuff. And you had no problem with it. Well, how does it feel for the shoe to be on the other foot? It's not very nice, is it? Maybe you shouldn't have encouraged people to behave that way. See, if more people were to leave those communities, cancel their memberships, stop donating money, then eventually their channels would die. But that's not what you're doing. You're rewarding them for that. And there are all kinds of justifications that they come up with for why what they're doing is the right thing to do. And it's never the right thing to do. Stalking people is never the right thing to do. Never. Which is why I will never support Frenchie. I don't give a damn what Chantal said about her. I will never support Frenchie. And that disgusting stuff that Frenchie said to that lady with breast cancer, who was in her chat, the woman that she and her community raked over the coals, and then the lady went and donated to Chantal, and then it turned into a whole thing. Frenchie is a piece of shit. She is a mentally imbalanced, angry, greedy woman. But you guys love it. Not you guys in chat. I'm just saying. Come on now.
And it would be okay if it was just like, oh, Kalari's this, Kalari's that. But you know it didn't stop at that. You know they were calling around trying to harass people that had nothing to do with fucking Girl World.
Oh.
Because we just allow this. We allow these grown people, they have nothing else better in their life, to go around calling innocent people, trying to get gotchas and everything else.
But you liked that, Kalari. You liked that. You liked it when Sam called CPS on us. You liked it when Sam called NEGZNN's elementary school. You liked it when Sam was calling Connection Cafe or emailing the head of Connection Cafe. You liked it when Sam was reaching out to former friends of ours or stalking people in Connersville on Facebook and probably getting in their DMs to dig up dirt on us. You liked that. You thought it was hilarious. That was your entertainment. That's what you were using to have a few laughs. And that is why, Kalari, I will never, ever stop coming for you. Because you are an evil, nasty woman who is full of self-hatred, who turns that self-hatred outwards onto strangers on the internet. And you are drawn to some of the vilest content creators on the platform because they give you that permission to behave as horribly as you want to behave. And you're rewarded for it. And then they take your money and then they kick you out when they're done with you, which is exactly what you deserve. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And anyone who supports those content creators is disgusting, period.
And you notice none of their channels has we've got this person to expose Kalari, because all the people that they tried to drag into it wouldn't answer them.
Mm-hmm.
You were trying to call people who I don't even fucking talk to anymore, family-wise too, which is...
How many people in this community have reached out to people we know in Connersville? How many people in this community have done that? Have called businesses in Connersville to try and badmouth our business? Or have reached out to people that we used to be friends with and befriended them? Or put them on their channels to tell lies about us? Or gone on the Facebooks of people who live here that they don't know to get half of a story and not verify it, and then go on their channels and announce this bullshit as if it were fact. Do you know how long we've been putting up with this shit, Kalari? Negs has been putting up with it for 7 fucking years. I've been putting up with it for 2, and it's about to come to an end. But don't think that you're special. You decided that you were going to get involved with these people. You associated with them. You gave them money. You gave them support. You gave them shout outs. And now the crocodile has come to eat you, and you're sitting there with surprised Pikachu face like, oh my God, how could this have happened to me? Because that is what they do. Don't you remember the story of the scorpion and the frog? You know, the frog agrees to take the scorpion across the pond and says, but please don't sting me. And when they get to the other side, the scorpion stings the frog and they both start sinking. And the frog says, why would you do that to me? You know, I did all this for you. And the scorpion says, because it's in my nature. That's what they are. Whatever.
So fucked up, I can't even imagine what that's like. And I don't need this. I don't need to worry about who the fuck I'm associating with and how that is going to affect my real life anymore. So this is me declaring my distance. This is me asking any of you who want to still watch us to know that we will not be bringing up Girl World stuff anymore.
You said that a month ago, Kalari. Would you just stop doing it? This is so embarrassing.
I just want to lay bare how I feel so that even if people want to speculate, you can go, no, she went live and she said, this is what she's doing and this is why.
Hey, SARS, he's fine. He's at work.
To anybody that I'm disappointed in. I don't even have to name names of people that I outright don't like because you know they're pretty much the same people. I've had creators say they know me, which they don't. I've had creators literally lie on my name using stuff that is still readily available. So if I'm so scammy...
Oh, you know who lied on my name? That bitch whose video you've got pulled up here, Bridget. Bridget has lied about me so many times, I've lost count. But, you know, all right, Kalari, I think we get the point. You're very unhappy, and you're not going to talk about this anymore, and I'm guessing that you're going to do several more streams about it because you can't find anything else to talk about. Just deal with it. It's over. Those communities are not going to accept you back. You know, you're mad at Olap? Get the fuck over it. You're mad at Kiwi Farms? Get the fuck over it. Do you know how many years Kiwi Farms came for me? Years! Years they came for me. Years. So many lies were printed about me on that forum. And then creators would take those lies and they would run with them on their channels. And you think it's bad when you've got like a couple of people who are after you? Try what? 30, 40, 50, 100, hundreds of people, both creators and audience members who are calling CPS, you know, who are reporting your eBay, who are, you know, trying to get, you know, mess around with your store, who are trying to mess around with your personal life. Reaching out to people that you know in real life, reaching out to your relatives, showing pictures of your ex-spouses on Twitter and on YouTube. Do you know how long I've been putting up with that? 2 fucking years. By a lot more people with very big audiences. So, miss me with all your boo fucking hooing. I'm sick of you. All right. So, yeah, it is a cow thing, Anna. It's totally a cow thing. It's ridiculous. All right, let's bring up yeah, Rio. Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous if you're that upset and if you're that talented and you have that many interests and you're so you know, diverse in terms of the things that you want to talk about, then talk about those things for God's sake. Okay. So Jan, Bridget, and Edna had a panel. And I guess that they briefly touched on Gigi, but they decided to stop talking about him when he started telling them things they didn't want to hear. So they dumped out of Gigi's stream. And they decided that they were going to talk about me, which I knew they were going to do. And I'm sure they'll talk about me again after this stream. So let's go.
Now that I've seen what he's done here, then I can see he's just,
Here,
I love boy bands. And I was
oh,
like,
wait, let me go back.
really? Love it. I really love it.
Uh-huh.
Jan's got dementia like Fedora. Not yet. I think it's coming though. I think it's on the way. Right, so
Not be able to make it, although Harry Styles hasn't done so badly now, has he? Harry Styles.
right, this woman took offense to a video I did about Liam Page.
Yeah.
And oh dear.
Yeah, I thought your video was incredibly insensitive and ignorant, and you're going to display more ignorance in this live stream. And so I decided to respond to it. And Jan, if I didn't react to you, if I didn't pay attention to you, nobody would pay attention to you. Nobody reacts to you. Nobody watches you. Nobody cares about you. I am doing this because I just cannot get over how out of whack it is, the perception that you have of yourself and the reality as everybody else can see it. But let's go.
It's quite funny. Some of the things she comes
Listen, I
out
didn't
with.
think One Direction was that popular.
Edna said she didn't think One Direction was that popular. Really, Edna? You know, hey, Def. Edna, I don't know what to make of you. I really don't. I don't have bad things to say about you, even though you did call me a racist, because of course you did, just like everybody else on this panel. Because apparently anybody who criticizes someone of a different race for the things that they say has to be racist by definition. But, you know, whatever, in one ear and out the other. But you didn't know One Direction was that popular? Really? You had no idea? Okay. Well, now you know.
Oh, do you know what made me laugh is when she said, I love boy bands. And I was like, really? What do you love about boy bands?
Put a 1 in the chat if you love boy bands. I have been very outspoken about my love of boy bands. I always love boy bands. I have a soft spot in my heart for pop music. I do. I like it a lot. I think it's fun. And you know what the first boy band was that I loved? The Jackson 5 was the first boy band that I was a fan of. I guess Jan wouldn't consider the Jackson 5 to be a boy band. So were the Osmonds. They were boy bands. But, okay, let's go.
Which boy bands?
I don't know.
All of them?
Yes, all of them,
Yeah, I
Bridget.
think it's in general.
Yes.
The genre.
Just in general. So if she loves boy bands, isn't she aware that it's like manufactured?
Of course I'm aware of that. Who doesn't know that boy bands are manufactured? Of course I'm fucking aware of boy bands being manufactured. They're wholly artificial. But there's something that's really fun about them. I know that you've forgotten to have fun, Jan. But I like to have fun occasionally, and I think that they're a lot of fun.
You know, it's like,
People don't care.
yeah, exactly. So when I did this video, it was basically to, you know, I'm like, I like to come up at it from a different angle. And I was looking at the possibility that perhaps Liam felt, because, you know, they'd broken up and a couple of the members of the band had done really well for themselves. He can't, and he didn't. And I wondered whether perhaps, you know, he suffered from imposter syndrome.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, what could he do? He wasn't a good enough singer on his own. None of those boys were good enough, really.
Really?
On their own.
Yeah, I don't think it's the issue that you don't have a point. I think they were just saying it was too soon.
No, it's not that it's too soon. It's that her take was really ignorant and heartless, and I hate it when she diagnoses people. She does that all the time. She thinks that she's a therapist. She thinks she has insight into people's psychology. She doesn't. How the fuck do you know that he was suffering from imposter syndrome? It's ridiculous. Jan, stop it. Just because you diagnosed yourself doesn't mean that you can diagnose other people.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't care. I don't care
Yeah, I
what
think
they
they thought it
think.
was in bad taste. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, all right. Thanks, Edna.
You're welcome.
No, look, really, on their own.
Yeah, I don't think it's the issue that you don't have a point. I think they were just saying it was too soon.
And you know, the thing that really kills me, I decided that after listening to part of this stream, I felt really gaslighted. So I thought, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the one who doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. So I went on YouTube and I found a video of Liam Payne singing Steal My Girl, which is my favorite One Direction song. And he was singing it solo. He had a band with him, obviously. And it was lovely. And I have to say that the comments under that video broke my heart. I mean, I was never that into One Direction. I just enjoyed them. I thought they were a lot of fun. But to see how people were really heartbroken about his death. And he was a terrific performer. He didn't have great stage presence. And no, he didn't have the best voice I've ever heard in my life. But a lot of the musicians that I enjoy don't have the greatest voices. I'm a fan of Bob Dylan's. He couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. But he's a great artist. So the same thing with the lead singer of the Psychedelic Furs. Richard Butler does not have a range. He has a very raspy, he almost does speaking singing. And he's an amazing frontman, and I love the Psychedelic Furs. So I don't know what the point is here. This is so stupid. And I've seen videos of One Direction singing a cappella, and they were fantastic.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't care. I don't care
Yeah, I
what
think
they
they thought it
think.
was in bad taste. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Edna.
You're welcome.
No, yeah, you're right. But I think it's something that I wanted to cover it, and then I wasn't sure. Anyway, let's just get on with what speed we have to have turned fast because oh my god. Speed. Let's put her on 1.5 as well. Right, okay.
Didn't.
Liam Payne.
Uh-huh.
I'm well aware that he's got thousands of supporters, millions maybe?
Millions.
I don't know. So, right, look, you know what makes me laugh? Her face, like when she's reacting to videos, her face is hilarious.
Is it?
Okay. And not in a
All
nice
right.
way. Anyway. So here we go. I wanted to start with how she started it.
There were
Okay.
terrible things that happened, just like what happened with, these other boys who were in these bands. But so far, we don't know. But Liam Payne was.
Right. She keeps insinuating that something else must have happened.
It could have happened.
I don't know where she's getting that from.
Because there are so many boy bands where things were
Yeah.
done to them, like the Backstreet Boys. What's that other one
Was
that
it
came around the same
immature?
time?
Tell me the
Well,
story.
Immature too. Yeah.
Tell me what
'Cause they-
happened with the Backstreet Boys. I'm not.
But wait a second, Jan, I thought you knew all about the music business and you're not aware of the exploitation that took place in many of these boy bands. You're not aware of Lou Pearlman. You're not aware of Menudo. You don't know what happened to these people. You have no idea. But you know all about the music business. You're fully aware. You're so in the know when it comes to that particular genre of music. And the thing that kills me about this, what really cracks me up about it, they're agreeing with what I said in my stream. They haven't listened to my stream yet, but they're agreeing with what I said. But because they're so stubborn and they're such A-logs, they cannot admit that I was right. And this is the thing that kills me about them.
Aware of that.
It was the
I
Backstreet Boys.
think they're young men that get taken advantage of.
In sync.
Yeah, and then there was like their manager or something that
Lou
some
Pearlman.
big fat man. He was doing like SA stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
What, to the boys?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes, and he robbed them blind. He robbed them blind also. If you watch, oh God, what is his name? It's Lance. Lance, who made that documentary about the NSYNC experience and what happened with Lou Pearlman and the other bands that Lou Pearlman was involved with. And they did the first big opening of the envelope with their checks from their revenue from their like first year, I guess, as NSYNC, and the checks were tiny, and they were looking at each other like Lance Bass is who I'm thinking of, and they were like, "What happened to the money?" The money evaporated, and that was even though Justin Timberlake's mother and Lance Bass's mother were very, very like aware. I mean, Justin Timberlake had been on the Mickey Mouse Club, you know? And so he had been performing. He was on there with Christina Aguilera. He was on there with Ryan Gosling. He was on there with Britney Spears. They were all on that show together. So they had been performing from the time, he had been performing from the time that he was very young. And his mother was not a babe in the woods when it came to the business. And even she couldn't believe it. Like, where did the money go? He robbed them blind on top of everything else.
God.
And then
But-
even like Aaron Carter.
Who is Aaron Carter? I don't even.
Who is Aaron Carter? But she knows about the music business. Who is Aaron Carter? You know, the thing that surprises me about her not knowing who Aaron Carter is, she used to be a big fan of Callie's, and there was a period of time where Callie was doing a lot of Aaron Carter content. Now, maybe Jan wasn't watching, but I remember when Callie was covering Aaron Carter, when Aaron Carter was really on the decline, and he was streaming with his girlfriend, and there was a kid in the house, and it was a mess. You could see that he wasn't headed in a good direction. But Jan doesn't know who Aaron Carter is. All right, but you know all about the music
Even
business.
know who that is. I've read
That's the-
about it a long time ago.
Go ahead, Edna.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Oh, I don't know. Like he's a singer. He was the brother to one of the guys that was in one of the boy bands. I forget which boy band it was.
Yeah.
From
The
Backstreet Boys.
The Backstreet Boys? I want to say Backstreet
Yeah,
Boys.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He had a successful
he got him
older
for
brother,
drugs.
didn't
yeah.
Nick
And
Carter.
it's just like
Yeah.
he was just a troubled soul.
The blonde
Kinda like,
one.
what's his name? Justin Bieber.
he? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who
Yeah,
Justin Bieber is, right, Jan?
Yeah. It's,
Other-
you
these
know,
other boys
I mean,
were in the-
we can kind of look at a lot of these musician artists and kind of see, I don't, what would you call it? Just kind of like signs. You know, like people come out and say that X, Y, and Z has happened to them. And these people kind of demonstrate the same kind of thing, getting into the drug use or, you know, just not being able to continue on at the same level of success or whatever. You know, they just can't hold it together.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we do live in a world, maybe it's, you know, human beings make up, certain human beings make up where they see certain people or certain situation
Uh-huh.
that they can exploit. And I think we all know that it's not just the music business, it's, you know, it's all areas of the arts, it's in sport, it's in any area where there are children.
Which is why I have always said that kids should not perform professionally. Kids should not be in these businesses. They shouldn't. That's my, and listen, I have seen child performers who were absolutely incredible. Michael Jackson at the age of 8 was a phenomenon. Haley Joel Osment was incredible in The Sixth Sense. The child actors who appeared in those Nora Ephron movies, the kids who were in the Spielberg movies, amazing. The kids who were in Stranger Things, I have tremendous respect for the kids who are really, really talented, really, really good, but they don't belong in a business that is so rife with exploitation of all types. They don't. And a lot of times the parents are asleep at the wheel and they're not paying attention. Or the parents are actually the worst ones because they're the ones who push their kids into the business and they don't supervise what goes on.
Or
Yeah.
young women. It's like, I mean, we've all heard about the casting couch, and that goes back years, you know,
I mean,
for
it's not
people.
even it's not just young women, it's the young men too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I don't know what the answer is for it, because I suppose the only answer would be for, you know, people under a certain age to have chaperones, but then is
Hmm.
really going to help? Um, a, c- a couple of my kids went to stage school, and they did, you know, they did work, and they go to auditions and things like that.
You know what's funny, Jan, is that this is the first time you've ever mentioned this. And I find that very interesting that you never told anyone this, did you? You've never spoken about it. All of a sudden now, your kids went to drama school. All right, whatever you say.
And they always had a chaperone with them.
Hmm.
But I
Yeah.
think,
I think it
like,
does help because of this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
no, carry on.
Yeah, I was gonna say the stars that we hear, or that we see that, we heard that they always had their parents around. I think it was Raven Simone or
Hmm.
was it the girl that played DJ Tanner on what was the family
Oh,
show?
Full House, Full
The
House.
sitcom. Yeah, Full
Hmm.
House, and there's just certain people that
Yeah, okay. But Jan, you've heard of Judy Garland, right? I'm sure that you've probably heard her name mentioned, at some point in your life. Do you know about what Judy Garland went through as a child? Did you hear about this suffering that took place on the set of The Wizard of Oz? Have you heard about how badly she was exploited and what a nightmare her mother was? Sometimes the parents are not a help. I'm just saying. But as long as there have been children in the industry, there have been people who have been out there to exploit them. From the parents to the managers to the studio heads to the record company executives. It's a terrible, terrible story, and it's not obviously limited to the music business. But Judy Garland had a terrible, terrible backstory. Horrendous.
haven't really gotten into drugs crazy or,
Yeah.
DWIs and all that kind of stuff. And they had their parents around. Kiki Palmer, like she's in this situation with her baby's father now, but she did really well until she got older.
Mm, yeah. I think,
And that's the other thing, too. When kids perform, when they start performing at a very young age, and let's say that they peak, let's say that they're in a Spielberg movie, let's say that they're Haley Joel Osment. He's a great example. He goes in, he gets cast to appear in The Sixth Sense. He gets nominated for an Oscar. I don't know if he was the youngest ever person nominated. He may be. Although I think Tatum O'Neal is the youngest Oscar winner in history. I think Haley Joel Osment was younger than she was when he was nominated. And there were many, 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 many years where he did not work. And then he popped up on TV shows like Silicon Valley, where he was freaking hilarious. Jonathan Lipnicki had the same problem, the kid from Jerry Maguire. He grew up and the kids aren't as cute as they used to be, or they grow up into funny looking adults, or, times change. And, they realize, holy shit, I reached my peak when I was 16 years old, 10 years old, however young. And then they can't make it as adults, and it does something to them. It does something to them. And especially when these kids are given the burden of being the chief breadwinners of the family, that makes it even worse.
and this is what I don't understand. It seems to be that for a child to be successful,
Hi, my
they
love.
have to be taken away from their parents. Now, I don't agree with that. And if any of my kids had been offered that kind of stardom, I'd have been there. There's no way
Uh huh.
my child under the age of 16 would have been taken away from me in order to become famous. But it seems to be, and it's,
Okay, so Jan, do you have anything to say about Usher's mother giving him to P. Diddy when he was, what, 15 years old? and how Usher then recruited Justin Bieber to spend a weekend with P. Diddy, and we still don't know what happened that weekend? Do you have anything to say about that? Do you have anything to say about the parents who were throwing their daughters at R. Kelly, even though they knew what the accusations were? I think that even after he was arrested, there were parents who were dying to turn their daughters over to that man because they were so keen on their kids making it big in the business. Again, sometimes the parents can be a huge problem. And sometimes the management companies do not allow the parents to be present. When it came to Menudo, the manager, the Svengali of Menudo, was given parental rights over those boys. The parents signed away their parental rights. You see, if you actually knew something about the music business, you would know all this, but you don't know shit.
Not just the music business. It's like anything to do with fame, if you like, anything to do with show business. It's like the kids are expected to be handed over.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think to a certain degree
It's darker than you want to admit. Like I think these parents know what's going on, and they just make kind of like a financial decision to let it happen.
I don't know. I don't know if any parent would actually agree to their child being
I'm
abused.
not saying that they agree, but I'm saying they're aware of what's going on. Like if you're over a certain age, you have so much life experience. I don't think you're like I'll never forget who's the it was Sarah from Making the Band. Her husband was next to her, like they were like he's the sixth member or whatever member of the group because he was always there, to help her because and knowing that being around Diddy, you don't know what was going on, and he wasn't gonna let it happen on his watch. Like, and she's a grown woman. So especially with these kids, I think if the parents are letting this happen, it's not an accident.
Okay, so far, I think that you will notice if you saw the stream that they're reacting to, they are agreeing with everything that I said. They're agreeing with me. But again, because they are so unbelievably stubborn and such A-logs, they refuse to give me any credit. They're going to criticize my appearance. They're going to criticize my lifestyle. They're going to criticize the way I speak. But they're not going to listen to what I have to say, even though they are agreeing with all of the points that I brought up in that
Like,
stream.
especially when people have a history of it.
I think some people are very naive, whether they be parents or not, and there are a lot of manipulative predators out there that know how to manipulate these people.
Yeah, I think like that as well. I had a friend.
Oh, God, here we go.
I mean, very rarely. Sometimes we connect on Facebook, but that's regardless. But he was in a boy band. And,
Sure you do.
Trying to think how old he was at the time. He would have been in his teens, but older teens. And he was in a band. He was in a boy band, quite a well-known boy band over here, and they had a couple of really big hits. But
Hey,
what
Capone.
happened was, one of the guys in the band didn't want to go along with everything that the agency wanted him to do. So there was a big hoo, and the band split. It completely ruined the band. Now I'm not going to say which band it is. You will have heard of them, and you'll definitely have heard of one of them.
Would everybody please thank my beloved for gifting 5 memberships? Thank you, my love. I appreciate you. You know how much I loves you. And thank you, Capone, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You see, this is the thing. If Kalari just went on stream and she said, look, I'm here to make some money, all right? And she looked at her content with an eye towards making money, she wouldn't have as many problems as she does. But she just wants to go out there and keep repeating herself, and nobody gives a shit, Kalari. But thank you, my darling. I appreciate it, and thank you so much, Capone. Capone, you've become quite the talk of the town. I don't know if you were aware of that. I don't know if you were aware of the fact that everybody's taking your name in vain, and apparently your name was taken in vain in this stream. You're everywhere. You're everywhere, and everybody has something to say about you.
Of their songs. But when my friend told me that what happened as regards the agency, and I think that's where it comes from. It comes from, or that's the core of it, where
Thank you, my darling.
they are expected to work their nuts off, and they're expected to produce an album
Hey,
in
Stuart's
such and
mom.
such time, and they're expected to do this and they're expected to do that.
Yeah.
And if one of them says they don't want to do it, then either the band will disband,
Yeah.
or they'll kick him out
Of
and
course.
get somebody else in.
Right.
And
You don't want to miss your spot.
Yeah.
so that you are.
I've heard stories like that with the K-pop people. Like they're
Yeah.
cutthroat.
See, I don't know anything about that. I'm not really interested in Japanese music.
Did you guys hear that? I think it was Edna who brought up K-pop, and Jan said, "Oh, I don't know anything about that. I'm not interested in Japanese music." But I have to remind you guys, I have to keep on reminding you, according to Jan, she is an expert in the music business. She knows everything. She knows everything about the music business. And you didn't know that K-pop, K stands for Korean, you massive dolt. If it was Japanese, it would be J-pop, but it is K-pop. You utter and complete buffoon. But yeah, she knows everything about the music business.
But yeah,
Korean. Korean.
oh,
I'm
Korean.
gonna go. I'm just going.
But I will say they probably are led or steered. Is it steered or just driven by their music agencies? So yeah, it's and I think, I don't know, I just think, there were these 5 boys. Well, they were boys. I mean, I'm going back to One Direction.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I
They
think One
were,
Direction
they're
was
saying
pretty
that
young.
Liam was 15 when he first went on to X Factor. But when he very first went on to X Factor, he didn't get through.
Right, a
He
lot of
wasn't
people
strong
didn't.
enough.
A lot of people didn't.
So he went back, I think, a couple of years later. So I think when they were actually put together as a band,
Yeah.
he was older than 15. He was perhaps 16,
Oh,
maybe
16
17.
16 or 17, my God, practically a foot in the grave. This woman is so lacking in self-awareness that I honestly, sometimes I find it amusing. Let's continue.
But regardless, all 5 of those boys will have had to have cut ties with their family members. Now,
What?
I think that that's wrong. I don't think that should be happening. And it's not.
Who told you that they had to cut ties with their family members? Zayn Malik didn't cut ties with his family members. Zayn Malik comes from a very tight-knit Pakistani family. Harry Styles didn't cut ties with his family members. What the fuck are you talking about? You're thinking of Menudo. Where did this come from?
Not as if they cut ties and then, they can go back and see them at the weekend when they're not gigging or whatever. They're literally, taken away from their families, and they have to do tours, and they do tours.
But that's not being taken away from your family. That's working. That's a different story. No. Menudo had to cut ties with their families. That is cutting ties. When your family members, when your parents have to sign over parental rights to a management company, that is cutting ties with your family. One Direction was not a cult. What are you talking about?
Tours, in order to get so big, is they have to do tours in countries that like boy bands, like Japan or Korea.
Every country in the world loves boy bands. Why do you think that they are money-making machines? Because there's something about the boy band formula that works. That's why they're so popular. They know who the target audience is. The target audience is young girls. All right? And every country in the world has young girls. Jan, You absolute moron. Do you know, when I lived at my old apartment before I bought my condo, I was very, very close to Nationals Park, the baseball stadium, and they used to do concerts there. And when One Direction came to DC, first of all, the metro was packed with young girls and their dads mostly. It was mostly dads accompanying these girls to this show. And they were very young. They were like, between the ages of I would guess 10 and maybe 15, 16. And those were the higher age limit, right? The show, of course, had to start early because the audience was so young. The screaming started at around 4 p.m. I'm sitting in my living room, and there is a scream coming from the stadium that was like a roar. It's like if you've ever seen the footage of the Beatles at Shea Stadium, that's what it sounded like. It was a roar that started, and it didn't stop until they went off stage. It was completely sold out. And these girls went crazy, and we don't live in Japan or Korea. One Direction was popular all over the world, and boy bands are popular all over the world. What are you talking about?
And there's certain countries that they all tour because they're the people that love all that type of pop music. And that's what One Direction did.
Why are you stereotyping that way? You know that the Japanese, it's not just that the Japanese love pop music. The Japanese are very into Western music. I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. I'm really Paul, I can't remember his last name. But he played in the band Mr. Big with Billy Sheehan. And when he discovered that he had run out of options in Los Angeles, that nobody would hire him, that nobody wanted him in their band, because heavy metal was over, that Sunset Strip thing was over, it was done, and all of those people who had been in that genre of music were now screwed because grunge came and they all got replaced by these other bands. The record companies dropped them. They couldn't get booked booked for shows, certainly not in these huge venues. And Paul Gilbert, I think is his name, who was an incredible guitar player, and he ended up going to Japan. He moved there permanently because he had more opportunities in Japan. And he wasn't in a boy band, and he wasn't pop. He was a heavy metal guitarist. But you'll notice that a lot of the Japanese love it. They remember Cheap Trick live at Budokan? The Japanese go crazy over Lady Gaga, over all these Western acts. They love it. They love it. So it's not just boy bands, it's Western music in general.
So anyway, let's listen to this old bint in the attic. A bit more about music.
Oh, I'm an old bint. Okay. But so far we don't know. But Liam Payne was obviously a tortured soul. Yeah, Paul Gilbert, Annie. Pipe up and share their views. Jan's.
Yeah, I did. Why shouldn't I? What you got to say about it? And has her head suddenly got heavy that she has to keep holding it up? That's what I want to know.
The business itself is vile. You know what I love? I love it when bitches who don't appear on camera come on stream to critique my appearance or my demeanor. I love that. Yeah, it's a thing I do. So what? Come on, Jan. Why haven't you been on camera in years? It's been years, literally, since I've seen your face on camera. What is it that you don't want to show on camera? I mean, unfortunately, Bridget goes on camera, which is a real shame. I've never seen Edna's face. I don't know what she looks like. But here we go. Everybody strap in. And the people who get involved in those businesses are vile. The Svengalis are disgusting, exploitative in every possible imaginable way.
Exploitative. Okay.
So I don't know what happened in One Direction. Maybe someday we'll hear that there were terrible things that happened, just like what happened with, these other boys who were in these bands. But
I think her head must start to get heavy. The way she cups her chin like that just makes me laugh.
So far, we don't know. But Liam Payne was obviously a tortured soul. So guess who had to pipe up and share their views? Jan's views, of course. Mm-hmm. Now, given the incredibly cruel and nasty way that Jan expressed her feelings about Chantal getting exploited by a 40-year-old man when she was 16.
gosh.
I think that Jan's words were, well, not all 16-year-olds are built the same, or something like that.
Yeah, so what did she say? Evil, nasty things I said?
Yeah.
Just get a grip, woman. Okay, just get a grip.
Oh, I'm the one who needs to get a grip. I'm the one who needs to get a grip. You were out there justifying what happened because it's Chantal, of course, and because not all 16-year-olds are built the same, and because the guy was an alcoholic. So that erases the slate, right? But I'm the one who needs to get a grip. Okay, Jan, duly noted.
You don't know what teenagers are like.
Oh.
You've got no experience of life with teenagers. So just zip it.
What I do know, Jan, is that you have never, ever once talked about the grooming gangs in Britain. I wonder why that is. And in the case of the grooming gangs, we weren't even talking about teenagers. We had girls as young as 11 who were being sexually exploited by older men. And you have nothing to say about that. Are you going to comment on that? The fact that all 11-year-olds aren't built the same, or are some people just put on this earth to be exploited by older men? Is that it? Is that it? I know that not all teenagers are the same, for fuck's sake. I know that. What I'm addressing is the cruel and heartless way that you will talk about people that you don't like and dismiss what happened to them because you don't like them. You know, that two-tier way that you have of assessing a situation like that. Why do I get the feeling that Liam is about to get the same treatment?
What the same treatment as what? What treatment did I give to anybody? Okay.
So let's point fingers at Jan, shall we?
Yeah. Go on then. Go on. I could do with a laugh.
Let's throw some tomatoes. Let's go.
He's just got. Do you know? I thought long and hard about what I really wanted to say.
Oh, I'm sure you
about
didn't.
Liam Payne.
Uh-huh.
I'm well aware. The way she said, "I'm sure you didn't." She hasn't got a clue. Not a clue. That he's got thousands of supporters, millions, maybe?
Millions.
I don't know.
I don't have a clue, but you're the one who thought that K-pop was Japanese. But do continue.
So, I don't want them all coming after me. Listen, I'm an old bint here. He's just got views that she shares on YouTube. So anyway, I've been looking at this. I've taken countless screenshots, as you can see.
Oh, so much research.
I must be able to. But she's so bitter.
I'm bitter. I'm bitter.
She's so bitter, it makes me laugh.
I'm bitter.
Oh, God.
Okay.
My thoughts out about Liam Payne. Liam Payne, who at 15 was part of a very successful manufactured band when he was 15.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if I can get these in order. Probably not. So he was 15 when he first became. She reminds me of a crow. You know, a crow in the head.
Okay.
With like a head popping out of it. You know, looking to the left and looking to the right. You know, that's what she reminds me of.
These critiques are so fucking idiotic, Jan. They're so ridiculous. Why don't you discuss the substance of what I'm saying? Because you have no counter to it. But, okay. I'm so embarrassed for you. I really am.
Then
Wait a
we're
minute.
gonna have to bring back the disclaimer.
Right. Wait, Sasha says, is Capone throwing tomatoes? I think Capone is throwing tomatoes at you, Jan.
Oh, there's Capone.
Oh, come on. Capone. Capone is everywhere.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. She's a very big disappointment, but hey ho.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Capone? You're a very, very big disappointment. You go sit in the corner, young lady. How dare you? How dare you disappoint Jan? But then again, if I were Jan, I too would be very disappointed because she had literally one person in chat, that weirdo Sasha. That was the only person in her chat. But let's continue.
Live and we learn. I don't bear grudges against, you know, against the name on the screen, you know. Famous.
Uh-huh.
Then the band One Direction. What did I think of One Direction? I thought they were crap.
They were fantastic.
Okay.
How dare you?
I agree with you, Jen. I wasn't a big fan.
I don't think I've ever heard a One Direction song. I don't.
Right?
Ah.
They were fantastic.
They were crap. All they did was
Bridget, maybe if you spent less time stalking people online, sharing the deeds to their homes, looking up their college degrees, trying to figure out if they're working or not working, and when they worked and when they didn't, and stalking the TV shows that they worked on, and sending very naughty pictures to Gentleman Pioneer to pass on to Tragic, who had blocked you, and getting involved in constant online dramas and fights with people and accusing people of being racist and all of that, maybe you would have more time to have, maybe you would have more free time on your hands to listen to music and have a better idea of what is and what isn't good. And if you want to talk about One Direction and how you don't know anything about them, I would start with the song Steal My Girl. It's wonderful.
bring out bubblegum pop. I don't like that. I like music with a bit of substance.
Like what?
You know, not something with
But DC reminds me of me when I was like a kid listening to New Kids on the Block, and everybody hated New Kids on the Block, and I'm like, you better not talk bad about New Kids on the Block. I
That was
love
me
them.
with the Spice Girls.
Who liked the Spice Girls? Did you like them, Edna?
Oh, I love the Spice Girls. I just knew I was gonna like move to London when I grew up. I had a whole British accent and everything. It's so
You know what I love about these phony bitches? Going on and on about, not liking music or groups or whatever that's manufactured, that's full of artifice and all that. You know how the Spice Girls were assembled? Some management company took out an ad in a paper and advertised because they wanted to start an all-girl group that could rival the boy bands that were so unbelievably popular. So they wanted 5 random women to come together. These women did not know each other. They'd never worked together. And that's how the Spice Girls got together. They were not an organic group that popped up, met each other, rehearsed, wrote songs, and then decided to shop their, music around and get signed to a record company. They were wholesale manufactured out of whole cloth. But yeah, okay, but you love the Spice Girls. See, why can't we just admit that there are genres of music that we enjoy? There's no shame in that, for fuck's sake.
There's gonna think about it.
You should be embarrassed. Although I will say, with the Spice Girls, they were more talented than
Were they?
One Direction.
Were they?
They had a couple of good singers in that group.
Did they?
Mainly Sporty. She held that group together. And although I think Scary Spice had quite a good voice as well. But the rest of them, just eye candy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, not play instruments or write songs or anything like that. A bit like Liam Payne. What can I say? The truth, it's the truth. But anyway, Liam Payne, who at 15 was part of a very successful manufactured band when he was 15. Let's see if I can get these in order. Probably not. So he was 15 when he first became famous in the band One Direction. What did I think of One Direction? I thought they were crap.
They were fantastic.
Okay.
How dare you? How dare you? Everybody Wants to Steal My Girl is one of the greatest pop songs of the 21st century.
What?
Never heard of
What would you know, Bridget? You're too busy stalking people online and harassing them and calling them racists to know any of One Direction's music. So how would you be in a position to say yes or no to what I just said?
Wait, reminds me of Hanson. I hated
Everybody
that group.
wants
Everybody
to
was like,
steal
that
my girl. Everybody wants to steal my girl.
That's the one.
Oh, shut up, you old hag.
Oh, I'm an old
What a
hag.
load of baloney. For God's sake. Pull yourself together, woman.
It's a great song. It's a great song. Just like Mbop is a great song. Just like ABC is a great song. Just like, let me think of something else. Now I'm blanking because sometimes this happens to my brain. The Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, all of them had great, great pop songs. Okay, it's not for everybody, but they were great pop songs.
Oh, sorry. Ah, this woman, I've heard what her musical tastes are.
Oh.
Her music tastes are, and they're awful.
Oh, are they?
Honestly, she likes all the punk rock stuff and.
How dare you, madam? Now, I know that you're very, very old. Bye, bye, bye. I love that song. I know that you're old enough, Jan, because you're much older than I am. You remember when punk rock burst onto the scene in 1977. We have the Brits to thank for that, and thank you for that, by the way. You think punk rock is awful? Punk rock was amazing. It was revolutionary. It changed the industry. It changed the industry. It moved the entire record industry away from those big, bloated stadium bands like Led Zeppelin and ELO and those bands that were super popular at the time. And it showed that you didn't even have to be able to play an instrument that well as long as you had passion and you were really, really fucking angry. And they touched a chord. And I loved it. Yeah, of course I loved it. Of course I did.
You know, just the loud music with no melody in it. And I mean,
Hi, Dee.
she thinks Negs is some sort of musician.
Uh-huh.
I mean, come on, woman.
You know what Negs has never had to do, Jan? Let me give you an example. Negs has gone on stream and he has played his instrument. And you can see that it's clearly him. He's playing it, right? Negs has never had to dub over the voice of a much more famous singer over a video or whatever of his kid to pretend that was his kid's voice, and dubbing over the voice of a very, very recognizable singer, Jan. The next time you're going to pull that stunt, you should maybe try overdubbing the vocals of a singer whose voice is not as distinctive as the one that you used at that time. Okay?
Pull yourself
something to
together.
it.
Sorry?
Like you're talking about like the death metal?
No.
Yeah, hate it.
No, I don't like death metal. Who said I like death metal? Punk rock is not death metal. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot. She's an expert in the music business, but okay.
Hate
I mean,
it.
I don't like it, but I don't know. Sometimes you're in a mood to listen to something like that.
Oh,
The
thank
thing
you,
is,
Edna.
if you really like music,
Mm-hmm.
you can't really have a genre. It's like, I hate it when people say,
Oh.
well, what music do you like? And I'm like, I
It's
like
yeah, all of
so
it. Yeah.
I've got such a huge scope of musical taste because I look at it sort of differently.
Like what?
You know, I look at it from a songwriter
Oh, do you?
perspective.
Mhm.
I like melody. I like.
Okay.
There's
But there's
so
so
many
much
things.
emotion in those songs.
Uh-huh. Like
Exactly.
what?
I like emotion.
Like
I
what?
like classical music.
Okay, so do
Not
I.
all of it, but
Yeah.
some.
So do I.
love classical music.
Yes.
I loved, waltzes and waltz. Sorry, it's getting late. We should be gone. It's an hour. I like waltzes. And I like Bryan Adams.
Oh, you like Bryan Adams. Look, I love Bryan Adams. I do. But you're trying to flex on me by pointing out that I like punk rock and you like Bryan Adams. You know that I like both. It's amazing, isn't it, how people can like multiple genres of music. I like Bryan Adams. I think he's great. I love his voice. And I do love his songs. That may come as a surprise to you. But yeah, I think Bryan Adams is terrific. Okay, who's next?
I like James Morrison.
It's not James Morrison, you idiot. It's Van Morrison. Van Morrison. You don't even know the names of the musicians you like. And by the way, when Bryan Adams first came out, he was definitely trying to he was trying to give off the impression that he was of the punk genre. If you look at his first record cover, you'll see what I mean. It's Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl, Moondance is Van Morrison.
I loved Michael Jackson. I loved Stevie Wonder.
Oh, Michael Jackson, who was in a boy band and who was a drug addict. What a coincidence. But you're not going to say anything about that. You're not going to say anything about Michael Jackson with his unbelievable addiction to benzos. I think that when he tapered back from like 40 Xanax or Valiums a day to 20, people were like, wow, he's really getting a handle on his issues. The man who had to be put to sleep by, being administered propofol, which is the anesthesia that you have to take before you get a colonoscopy, who started off in a boy band, Jan.
Love. There's so many. So if people ask me, oh, well, what music do you like? I'm like, oh, just don't even ask me, because there's so many songs that really touch me, that other people would think, oh God, that's awful. I think musical taste is very subjective.
Okay, so then why are you criticizing my musical taste? If it's subjective, then what the fuck is wrong with my musical taste or anybody's? This is so stupid. And the thing is that every single time I've gone to a show, I've done like a video. I mean, the only time I didn't was the last time when I went to see the Psychedelic Furs and the Jesus and Mary chain. And the only reason I didn't film parts of that show was because my seats weren't that great. And I'm 5'2", and I couldn't get a good shot of the stage from where I was sitting, standing, whatever, because the people in front of me were very tall. So it was a great show. What else have I seen? Let's see. I've seen New Order. I've seen the Pet Shop Boys. I've seen the Eagles. I've seen the Doobie Brothers. What else did I go see? I've been to so many shows over the past couple of years, and I've uploaded. Oh, Love and Rockets. I drove to Chicago to see Love and Rockets. These bands are not similar. They're not similar bands, so obviously I have a wide-ranging musical taste. But it all sucks. Okay, Jan.
But for her to sit there and say,
oh, hi, Lilith.
That song, I can't take her seriously.
Okay.
I just can't.
Amazing pop songs. They knew who their audience was. They catered to the audience. They were a lot of fun.
Is that it then? Is that what makes them superstars?
Yes.
Okay, they knew who their audience was. They catered to their audience, and they were a lot of fun.
Yes. Yes. I thought that you knew something about the entertainment business. Catering to your audience and entertaining them is how people become successful, Jan. Why is it that so many movies over the past year and a half or so have flopped? And so many of those Lucasfilm projects have flopped? Because those properties, those shows and those movies are not catering to the core audience, and people don't like it. Why are people so angry at Disney over Snow White? Why have so many Star Wars fans been up in arms for a couple of years now? Why were people so unhappy with that Indiana Jones movie? Because not only, and Marvel and DC, why did they take such a huge hit until Deadpool came out? Because they weren't catering to the core audience, and the core audience was angry about it. And the movies flopped. So yes, catering to your audience and entertaining them is a critical cornerstone of the entertainment business. When people forget that, then the money that is spent on those projects goes up in smoke.
Is that it?
Most
I
artists
think
do that,
so.
don't they?
I mean, like it at one point in time, it was like manufactured for the tweens, and
So
I remember when I was young, like what was it, Jessica Simpson? They like had her simplify her singing so that it was more like playable for the radio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at what Bridget has put in the chat. There's some trouble. Okay, I'm just going to carry on with this.
And what makes them
Let me
crap
ask her.
exactly? You know what? Never mind.
That's it. I tell you what makes them crap. It's because it's just. Do you know what's the word? I'm losing the words now. It's manufactured
And
music.
and
It's not music that comes from the soul. It's
Uh-huh.
not a song that somebody has poured their heart into.
I see.
It's just bubblegum pop. That's what it is.
So
And if you like that,
I
then
do.
that's fine.
I
But
do.
that's not what I like.
I don't care.
I like something with a little bit more meaning to it. I like to think if I can hear somebody sing and they can touch my soul,
Uh-huh.
that's what I like.
Okay.
And
I used
it
to
doesn't
like
matter.
her.
It doesn't matter what genre it is. If they can touch my soul, then they've got me for life.
Let me
Music.
tell
Yeah,
you
I know what you mean.
about
Oh,
I was gonna say something about like Lady Gaga. Like for years, I just
Uh-huh.
thought like, oh, this crazy lady. She looks weird.
Mhm.
She looks crazy. But then one day I saw her. She was in an airport, and so some little boy wanted her autograph and stuff like that. Some little boy, and she stopped and she actually sang to him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, I did not know she sounded like that.
Okay, to be fair, I had no idea that Gaga was that talented either. I had no idea. I wasn't a big fan of her dance music because I thought, it sounds like just club music that you would hear. It could be anybody singing, because it was so produced. There were so many layers to it. And it wasn't until I saw her perform or I saw her sing with Tony Bennett that I realized how unbelievably talented she is. So, I mean, I'll give Bridget that one. But yeah, Lady Gaga is a monster talent. Monster talent, a great pianist and a fantastic singer.
Like she can
oh, she's
sing, but
amazing.
Yeah.
yes, but then like all I heard were like clips of her doing her little pop songs, and I'm just like, but I was like, damn, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
And that's what I
I'm
was
the
gonna say. I
same.
used to follow a folk. And she was mixed, and her music was like mixed as well, where she had like a lot of pop influence and folk influence as well, and so it was very.
Anna, I cannot even begin to express how unbelievably fucking annoyed I am that Joker 2 is such a monster flop because when I saw that she had been cast to play Harley Quinn, I thought this is going to be great. Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix in the same movie, and she's a great choice to play Harley Quinn. She's going to be terrific. And then the movie went straight down the toilet. And then I come to find out that her part was largely written out of the movie. And I thought, why the hell would you cast Gaga and cut so much of her performance out of the movie? So I was going to go to the local theater because they have $5 Tuesdays here. And I thought, I don't even want to spend $5 to go to the theater to see it. I'll wait until it's on streaming. I'm not going to bother. So yeah, I hear you.
very poppy, but it had like so much soul and stuff because she was a queer artist and she put that into her music. So I don't like when you say poppy music is so manufactured. I think there's a way to do pop and to inject, like emotion into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's some voices that are just amazing. What's the name of the girl you're talking about?
Who, Lady Gaga?
Oh, this person.
Oh,
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
was gonna say my person. Her name is B. Steadwell. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
no,
so.
I
Like,
haven't
she's
heard
not
of
like a
her.
big person. Like she's not a well-known person. But I mean, I don't know. I followed her on YouTube
God,
for
no
a
one
few
cares,
years.
Dee. No one
Mm,
cares, Edna.
You know, I don't know. It's difficult to put into words what I mean, but there's some people that just open their mouths and are just like, so talented. And
Yeah?
there's just nothing about One Direction that was
Okay.
talented in my eyes. I know Harry Styles went on to sort of have a bit of a, music career
Not a
after.
bit of a music career. Harry Styles is a huge star. What are you talking about? Harry Styles has had an incredible music career, and he's appeared in movies. Now, granted, okay, one of them was Dunkirk, where nobody had any lines, but it doesn't matter. He was in a Christopher Nolan movie, which it's a movie that I happen to really enjoy. So he's branched out into acting. He's had an incredibly successful music career, a bit of a career, sure.
Afterwards, but those other four boys, they didn't have the talent to be solo artists. They just didn't have
Zane,
it.
Zane, you oh, how dare you, Jan?
Right.
You're trying to talk
I
about
was gonna
Zane?
say, he,
Zayn Malik is incredibly talented, but Zayn Malik has a lot of personal problems. Zayn Malik torpedoed his own career, but Zayn Malik is an incredible singer.
he was maybe the one that I thought was gonna do something.
Has he got a good voice? I've never played
Yes.
see anything that says One Direction, I just look past it. So I'm learning. So has Zayn got a good voice?
Yes.
Look, I don't even know. I know he did a like
I don't
a
know.
feature on somebody else's album, but I don't even remember. No, I'm just talking shit.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously though, people felt that way about him, and so when, yeah, like I thought Zane was gonna have the career that Harry had.
He was a good-looking boy. He
That's
was a
what it
Gorgeous.
seemed boy.
Gorgeous.
hmm
Yeah.
I'm going to be destroyed now by all these supporters, but
No, you're
the
not.
point I'm trying to make is, I'm not.
No, you're not going to get destroyed. You have 107 views on this crappy video. Nobody cares except for me. I'm the only person who's going to react to this.
Oh, I'm
You said that cracked me.
I'm hot. I love the way they watch all the watch my views. I love that. It's funny though, they don't mention anything when I get 5,000 views on a crime video. That's weird, that isn't it?
Whatever.
Weird how it goes, but hey,
Yeah.
never mind. Let's listen to Little Miss Happy here. Oh, I wanted to say about Lady Gaga. I was the same, Bridge. I didn't think I thought she was all poppy sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then I watched that film. What's the film?
Oh, with her,
A Star is Born,
the
or
country
May?
singer.
Oh, A Star is Born.
Yeah.
I tell you what, those
Yeah.
songs,
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
amazing.
When I
And
saw that, I was like, let me get this album. Let me get it.
Oh, I
I
just
just you could
think-
be in a room full of 100 people, and you only need one to boost.
Okay.
yeah.
Conversations with my dad. Someone said, and like I told my dad, I was like, yeah, I have fake conversations with you. He was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So this is another fake conversation I want to tell you guys about.
I know.
Bridget, I have an honest question for you. I do, because certain people have noticed things about you that they've pointed out. Do you have any friends in real life? Do you ever socialize? Do you ever go out? Like, you're a graduate student, supposedly. Do you ever go out with your fellow graduate students? Do you ever go out for drinks or dinner or lunch or anything? Do you go out on dates? Do you have any social life at all? I don't think you do, because the only conversations you discuss are the ones that you supposedly have with your father. And there's nothing wrong with having conversations with your father, but people are having a hard time believing that these conversations take place. I really don't care. I'm not one of them. I'm not interested. But I would like to know, do you have any friends at all? Just wondering.
Man, that cracked me up too. I was like, I think it's really sweet that you have like such a good relationship with your dad. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. The joke is that these people actually think you're lying.
Right?
Who cares?
Like,
What? She talked to her dad?
Who
What is she
cares?
doing talking to her dad? Who wants to talk to their dad?
I think it's because he talks so much shit. That's why, and they don't believe it. They don't have that kind of relationship where their dad talks all this shit. Like, I'm sorry, but I have fun.
I tell you what.
Are you having all these conversations with your dad because you go online and you accuse everyone of being a racist and a white supremacist? Is that why? I think that when that is your approach in public, that certain people are going to take exception to it, and they're not going to want to socialize with you. They're not going to want you in their communities, and that's why you're not in anybody's community, because nobody wants you around except for Jan and Edna. So,
Well, I would love to meet your dad. I would love to hear about the early days of radio and, you know, his part in the music industry. I
oh
would
God, not another
love
one
it.
in the music
I would
industry.
love to have, you know, they're the type of people that I gravitate to.
Let me
You
tell you,
know,
because when I went out there during the summertime, like his car was broke down or whatever, and so I had to get a mechanic
Oh
to
God, I
well,
don't
while you
care.
sat there in your dusty hovel, I've got a son. I thought we need to have a laugh at this, guys, because you can't take it seriously. And I really don't, because I know the life I've led.
Oh,
And these people, they just don't have a clue. But anyway, you tell me more about myself while you're sat there in your dusty hovel.
sure. What would you like to know,
Music
Jan?
business.
You're not in the music business, Jan, and neither is your son. Would you please stop that?
Oh my gosh!
Like, she's so matter of fact. Like she knows.
Yes.
You're not.
Absolutely, that's not.
You're not.
Yes.
Like, girl, what?
Oh God! Oh, I'm having a good laugh at this. This is really funny.
Oh boy.
You know, if he's not in the music business, then all those years that he spent in a very nice music university in Guildford. You might want to check this out, okay, Madam Corbino. Right, check out. Oh, I've forgotten the name of it now. ACL, something like that.
Well, Jan,
Oh God, I thought she was going to claim that he went to Guildford, and I was going to say bullshit.
careful, you don't want to dox him. Or,
Yeah.
you know,
Thank you, Deaf
No,
Otter.
but
Thank you for
they're
becoming a
not
member.
behind him. He hasn't been there for a few years. But that's where he got his like. Sorry, I can't stop laughing. That's where he got his degree in contemporary music.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's not true either, is it? No, it's not true. I'm making it all up.
Don't care.
And then, you know, he's been a musician.
Graduating from a performing arts college is not being in the music business. How many of the people who go to Juilliard or to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art end up not making it in the business that they've chosen? A lot. We only hear about the success stories. We don't hear about the people who end up washing out for whatever reason.
His whole life, starting from like, you know, when he was at school, he joined a boy band. Can you
Oh.
believe? And yeah, but no, he's not in the music business. No, he's not. There you go.
Destroyed. You have 107 views on this crappy video. You know what's funny is that I went to a high school in DC that spawned the DC hardcore scene. So I went to school with the guys who founded Discord Records, and just about all of the guys who were a year ahead of me, well, I'm not going to say that. They were older and they were younger than me, and they were all in bands like the Teen Idols and Iron Cross and Minor Threat and Fugazi and bands like that. And even though they had the record label, well, they were in the music business. The guys in Minor Threat were, because they were part of a record label that they started in Ian's home, basically. And Fugazi had great success. And I went to, I didn't go to school with Dave Grohl or Brian Baker, who ended up in Bad Religion, or those guys, but they hung out a lot at the school. And Brian Baker was in Minor Threat. He started in that band. And I don't think that any of them would claim that they were like in the music business at a certain level, you know. This was all very homegrown, and that genre of music was an acquired taste. It was very influential, but it wasn't the kind of thing that everybody was into. Dave Grohl was the one who ended up, well, Dave Grohl and Brian Baker ended up making it really big in like mainstream music. Dave got lucky. He went to Seattle. He ended up in Nirvana. Then when Nirvana broke up, he started another band, the Foo Fighters, and he became a huge star, right? But I've known Dave since I was a teenager. Now, Dave, you could say, really made it in the music business. He really made it. The go-go bands in DC tried to make it, and at one point in the 80s, a lot of them were signed to Island Records, and Island was really pushing them, and they did not make it. They didn't make it because, again, that genre of music, go-go, was very regional, and so they never broke out far and wide. So the music business is very, very strange. Okay. But going to a performing arts school and then being in a couple of bands after school, that's not the music business. I'm sorry. I have a higher standard. Nobody
all
cares.
right, carry on.
Stop it.
And I always remember saying to him one day, would you do X Factor? And he said, no, Mum.
Destroyed. You have 107 views on this crappy video. Nobody cares except for me. I'm the only person who's going to react to this.
Keen on manufacturing bands. I've been in the music business for a long, long time.
Uh-huh.
And I've also got a son who's now in the music business.
You're not in the music business, Jan, and neither is your son. Would you please stop that? You know, being a wedding singer is not being in the music business. Being an extra in the audience at X Factor or Britain's Got Talent is not being in the music business. You are not in the music business. Cut it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's different. There's plenty of people. I'm disagree. Whatever. I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh God, I'm getting a stitch.
Are you?
She's just
It's so classes. It's
the hatred.
like, I mean, you.
Come on, Edna. Call me a
The
racist. Let's go.
hatred. It's like Jesus, woman.
I don't hate you, Jan. I think that you're an utter buffoon. I am having a laugh at your expense. At your self-aggrandizing ways of describing your accomplishments. You have never shown a shred of proof that you were in the music business at any time in your life. And this is the first time that a lot of people are hearing that your kids went to performing arts high schools. And that your son, I guess, graduated with a degree in contemporary music from God only knows where. Not Guildhall. Please don't say that. All right?
So give your head a nod. You know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I've lived a life that you haven't led.
Thank
You
God.
know, that's not my fault. I've had opportunities, I've taken them, I've lost opportunities. One of the biggest losses in my life, she's going to say I'm lying now.
Okay,
but
here we
anyway,
go.
One of the losses that I had in my life was that I gave one of my songs to a dance troupe that my kids were in. And it was played at the London Palladium. Now, she'll know what the London Palladium is, right? And it was played by, I think it was an 8-piece band. And one of the things that I really regret is, firstly, we didn't have any mobile phones then, so I couldn't show it.
I see.
How
convenient.
And the other thing was that I didn't get any royalties for it.
Why?
That's one of my biggest regrets.
Why?
And, you know, because I didn't take that opportunity. You know.
No, you didn't get any royalties from it because you probably didn't copyright it. You didn't take the opportunity to protect your intellectual property? Do you know that Congressman Peter Rodino, I think it was Peter Rodino, his daughter wrote Lucky Star, and Madonna covered it, and you know that woman has been making royalties off that song ever since? Because she has writing credit, but you decided that you weren't going to, trademark your song? And so you missed out on the royalties. Well, that was just bad. You know, you didn't think ahead, did you? If this story is even true.
I could have sold that piece of music.
Stop it.
And I always remember saying to him,
Well,
one
we're
day,
not all
"Would you do
fictitious,
X Factor?"
Dan. Don't beat yourself up about it.
No, but I mean, it's just so funny to me that this little old woman sat there with her way too big glasses and her Roman nose, think she could tell me about my life.
Oh, my Roman nose. Here you are. Why are you so fixated on my nose, Jan? This is not the first time that you've brought up my nose. Why is that? And yet you're going to turn around and call me racist. Okay, let's continue.
Dan,
Like,
are you being racist right now?
Oh,
no, saying a Roman nose
You know,
isn't
see,
saying it's racist. A Roman nose
No,
is a
but
certain type of
listen,
nose.
all we got is talking about race. And she said you're one of the biggest racists on the platform.
she is.
Right? Like, let's not give her any more,
We'll get to that in a
fuel
minute.
for the fire.
I'm racist, even though I'm mixed race. So half my family are white,
It's like you got all the race.
and the other half are black.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, what am I racist? Who am I racist against?
White people.
I've been racist against one side of my family.
White people.
And like 3 of my kids present as white.
Do they?
look white?
Do they?
Well, no, one of them does. Anyway, but yeah, I'm racist. All right, carry on then.
Just the blue-eyed blonde hair one.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it.
What are you gonna say?
Your
Go on.
blue-eyed, blonde-haired daughter will mop the floor with DC.
Sure.
She would, and she's 6 foot tall as well. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Oh,
you
Wow.
you little dweeb.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't tell you she was a model, did I? See, I keep things to
Oh,
myself.
here we go. Here we go.
Oh, so she's a model too. So the daughter is a model. Okay. Why is it, Jan, that you sound like Sam? Sam likes to threaten people with her kids who have, 4 out of 5 of whom have been in jail. She has a very troubled son who has been in prison or jail or whatever, and she likes to threaten people with this son of hers. Why are you threatening people with your daughter? I'm not the first one. What is your problem? What is wrong with you? Does your daughter know that you're online using her as, like your enforcer and threatening people with physical violence from this woman? I'm curious.
Oh, Jan.
I keep things to myself. These people are so bitter.
I'm not bitter.
I've got a son who's now in the music business.
You're not in the music business, Jan, and neither is your son. Would you please stop that?
I'll have to tell her. I wish I could. If I was in a different community, I would play one of his band's videos.
What's...
You did one time.
Oh.
A long time ago.
Yeah,
think
a
you
long
did,
time
yeah.
ago. But he's in another band. Well, yeah, he is. He plays in different bands now. And one of them, I don't know if you've heard of them, they're called roaming bands. And what they do is they get asked to go to like special events where they where they have to move around the the arena or wherever.
Okay, so like mariachi musicians in a Mexican restaurant. That's the vibe I'm picking up. Listen, work is work, okay? There's no point, given the unemployment rate in the entertainment business, to turn down work that pays you for whatever skill you have. But again, this is like a mariachi band. So I'm sure he doesn't play in a mariachi band, but that's the vibe I'm picking up.
Oh, that's
Singing
interesting.
and yeah. Now the funny thing is, he plays the drums. So I said, "Well, how do you do that with the drum?" He said, "Well,
Is
you
it
sort of tap it on the front."
marching band?
No, it's
Yeah.
not a marching band. It's a
The marching bands have drummers. They have like the drums that they hook onto.
Oh yeah, yeah. But this
I know
woman
something
here,
about music too, Jan. I was in the
Oh, now
orchestra.
Edna's in the music industry too. Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
I have 2 years of violin. I have a year of bass clarinet, a year of clarinet, the recorder. Okay.
Okay.
And I did 3 months of piano.
did you? A
Nice.
whole 3 months. Wow.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you.
The music
I'm
experts here.
One thing I would say to every parent: make sure your child plays an instrument. All mine played an instrument.
Yeah, I'm
My
sure they
All
did.
these people, they play weddings and stuff.
Yeah,
Or
of
you
course they
there
do.
for whatever's happening.
But
Yeah.
this woman will try and get to me in any way she can. But I always have the last laugh because I'm the one that's lived, and she's the one that's living in an attic in Indiana. So yeah, I always get the last laugh.
Jan, you are living in a hoarded out shithole in the suburbs of London painting rocks. holding these panels that only I watch, apparently. But absolutely, go ahead and tell me how much better you are than me. Go ahead.
And no house shaming, no house shaming.
Ah.
The edit would be so warm and toasty come wintertime. I'm not looking forward to the energy bills.
with a dusty old attic. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay. They just use you. They just exploit you, and
No, he wouldn't be on X Factor probably because he's not talented enough to make it past the audition.
right, okay. I'd said that I asked my son once whether he would have done it, and he said, "No, I won't, Mum, because it's too exploitative."
Mm.
And also, he was very into writing his own work then.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, he still does, but at that particular time, he wanted to write his own songs and everything as well. So,
Uh-huh.
you know, he was more into his music. I just can't get over how dumb this woman is. But yeah, so she's saying, but keep this in mind, all right? She's saying my son couldn't have got through the audition.
Mhm.
She obviously hasn't heard him sing, but never mind, her loss.
I think that your son is a little bit more aware of his limitations than you are. I know you're a proud
Oh
mom.
my
Let's be
God.
realistic.
It's all for
Oh my God.
this is like real bitterness personified.
Is it?
But it just
What am I
makes
bitter
me
about?
laugh. And the thing is,
Oh, imagine X Factor being all for entertainment. I thought the music business was all for entertainment too.
the music business, yeah, is in the entertainment sphere, but there's different parts of the music business.
We all know
and
this.
Some people take it a lot more seriously than just having crap dished up to them by manufactured groups.
Yes, I've met musicians like that, and they don't get work. I've met musicians that are very, very self-important, and they won't stoop to certain levels, and they won't do, the popular thing, which is fine. You don't have to, but then they sit around bitching and moaning about everybody around them who makes it, and there aren't that many, quite frankly. We all know how that works. I'm not impressed. You don't understand. I've been around musicians since I was in high school. And so I've seen people make it really big, and I've seen people struggle. There were a lot of people in DC who struggled like crazy to make it in the business, and they never did. And the people who everyone thought were going to be big, even people who appeared on soundtracks and, wrote soundtracks for movies and stuff, they didn't make it. They didn't get to the level that they thought they would. Everybody in DC thought that Go-Go was going to go massively global, and it didn't. You just never know. It's a crapshoot.
That's the difference. But she wouldn't understand that.
I mean, if you don't want to entertain people, you can grab a guitar and go to a coffee shop and sing depressing folk songs that make people want to commit suicide. But if you actually want to get an audience, maybe you might want to think about entertaining people. I know that this notion is alien to you, Jan, or else you would have applied it to your
I
channel.
think if you're
You know I'm right, Jan. You know I'm right.
oh, says her. Can't even sit herself properly in front of the bloody camera.
What?
All right,
Didn't her
Missy.
I think her boyfriend used to play in coffee houses and stuff like that. He had videos.
We don't have coffee houses
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, but I don't think he earned any money doing it, and I don't think he was discovered.
Was your son discovered, Jan?
I think if music means so much to you, I don't think X Factor is the place to go because they exploit you. They want people on that is going to draw the numbers,
Oh, imagine a TV show wanting to get ratings. I know. I'm just.
She just doesn't have a clue.
But just like I remember the stories of American Idol, and they exploited all those people, like especially the earlier seasons, where these people were put under these tight contracts and couldn't do anything and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but that's how the business works. When you sign a contract with a record company, it's an exclusive contract. That's how it works. And people are willing to take that risk, and a lot of them get screwed. Most of them get screwed with those contracts. Most of them do. Think about what happened with Kelly Clarkson and how hard she had to fight. George Michael went through that. A monster talent went through that. Prince went through that. A lot of really, really big names have all gone through that. It's not just American Idol. It is the music business in general. And a lot of times what these record companies will do is they'll sign a bunch of bands. They will give them zero support. And they just sign them in order to keep them in the stable so that they don't go with another record company. And then they basically just forget them. They put them on mothballs, and it's very, very sad. It's a very exploitative business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
And I
not to
think
mention the people who couldn't sing.
well, as a true musician, there's very few people that have gone on to those programs and done really, really well.
Right?
And that's because some of them have said, no, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, peddling out crap music. I value my music too much
Yeah.
to just, let it sort of mean nothing. And someone like DC here wouldn't have a clue about that because she's not creative in any way. And but I must say here, Capone, big up to Capone, has actually put in the chat.
It's
her
Capone.
son does play in a band. They're good. They tour and stuff. Thanks, Capone. Oh, don't tell her that. She'll think you've made it up.
Amazed that a TV show would want to get ratings. No, the reason you don't go on X Factor or American Idol, RIP, or any of those shows is because those shows have basically ruined the music business, okay? You have to have a certain look, you have to have a certain sound, you have to have a certain demeanor.
So now she's kind of backtracking on everything that she said.
No, I'm not.
But anyway.
No,
carry
I'm
on.
not. In order to make it on those shows, which means that, Joe Walsh and Tom Petty and Bob Dylan would never, ever, ever have made it past the auditions. Never.
See?
Yeah, she kind of just made you
My
play.
son wouldn't have made it past the auditions, and neither would any of these other legends. They wouldn't have made it past the audition.
Yeah, but they were talented, Jan.
What a
Thanks,
twat.
DC. Thanks, DC.
What a twat. Anyway, I want to get on a bit to what she's
Oh, this is the
saying
part that I
about-
wanted to hear because I
Thanks for
wanted
that
to
lesson
tell you
in
guys
My
something.
musical history. Thanks for that. All right. Right. Okay, let's go to here. He needed to take substances in order to feel normal. Who was the first person?
The King Crimson guys. And I was beside.
Oh, shut up. Nobody's interested in what you've got to say, woman.
Then why are you watching my stream? I was talking about Steve Vai, who is one of the greatest guitar players in the world, who joined up with members of King Crimson in an amazing collaboration. I actually, after I saw that comment, I went on YouTube and I watched some of their live shows, and they were absolutely amazing. Amazing. Incredible musicians. Incredible. Legends. But yeah, you don't want to hear what I have to say, which is why you watch every single one of my streams on this shitty Drama Friday broadcast that you have. But okay.
Right, okay. Oh, well, what about the pressure of fame when you're 15?
Yeah,
And, maybe you wasn't able to do this and maybe you wasn't able to do that.
right.
When I feel that the bigger question should be, why did he feel that he needed to take substances in order to feel normal? Who was the first person that came up with that idea? There's 5 guys, 5 young guys, okay,
Yeah.
in their teens, in a hotel room. So who was it who said to them, tell you what, let's try this, or let's try that?
Are you sure that you know about the music business, Jan? This is very
Oh my God! Do you know, that's one thing that I did worry about my son, because he started very young. He started when he was at school. And I did worry about that side of it. And you have to remember, he had 2 older sisters that kept an eye on him.
Oh, God.
So yeah, again, I think it's about how close you are to your family, to your kids.
Uh-huh.
You have to keep an eye on them, whether
All right.
they're in the music business or any business.
All
It's
right.
like, I'm not going to keep going on about, other things that my kids have done. I'm going to stop doing that. But you have to keep a close eye on them.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, really. And yeah, my son started his like non-existent music career
Mm-hmm.
when he was still at school, you know.
Okay.
And there was a time when I worried. I was like, because he was always around the band mates and um always practicing and everything. And yeah, that did cross my mind. But let let me be schooled by this woman who knows absolutely nothing about teenagers,
Okay.
parenting, or if your child does go into the music business. But
See, there she goes again. There she goes again. She is such a hateful, nasty witch, isn't she? Every opportunity she can take to bring up my infertility, she brings up. Every single one. And I know the reason that she's so angry and bitter. It's because she grew up in an orphanage, then she got adopted. She was miserable with her adoptive family, and so she projects all of her anger and misery onto every blended family that she can. She doesn't see them as legitimate, you know? And so that's why she's so angry. Jan basically has made it abundantly clear that she doesn't believe in adoption. She doesn't believe in foster care. She doesn't believe in, blended families. She doesn't believe in families that come together after divorce or adults getting together where there are already children in the home, that's not a real family to her. And that's her problem. That is her projecting all of her rage and bitterness onto me, which is why she keeps on calling me bitter all the time.
let me listen to her.
Common. You've never heard of this before? You've never heard of people who get into the business very, very young who end up with addiction issues? You've never heard of this?
Oh my God. Dumb.
Business by their parents end up with substance abuse problems. Why?
Oh.
And by the way, I looked up this Stephen Bartlett person. I've never heard of him before. Apparently, he's a very popular podcaster. You know that this Stephen Bartlett guy got in trouble.
Right. So she's done a quick Google on Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Stephen Bartlett is a self-made man.
Uh-huh.
He's an entrepreneur. He's in the Forbes rich list.
Okay, I have something to say about that, about the Forbes, top whatever entrepreneurs or youngest, richest under 40 or blah, 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 blah. What Jan doesn't know is that one of my best friends from college worked at Forbes for many, many years. And she told me a thing or two about how they put these lists together. All right. What Jan doesn't know is that a lot of times the management company or the PR people or the business managers or whatever of these individuals will pay to get their person on that list. Okay. This is the same magazine that declared that Kylie Jenner was a billionaire, which she wasn't. Kylie Jenner was never a billionaire. That was a lie. That was a lie that was concocted by her mother and by the PR team. And it was only when she sold Kylie Cosmetics that people got a chance to look at the books and they realized that the valuation of the company, what the real valuation was of the company. I think it was Coty that bought Kylie Cosmetics. Kylie was never a billionaire. A lot of the people that they put on these lists are not as wealthy as they claim to be. It's like what is it called? Sexiest Man Alive is a really good example. That list is definitely influenced by all kinds of, backroom deals. Whether somebody has something to promote, a movie to promote. It used to be a lot more honest, and now it isn't. It's just a pure PR placement for the cover of that magazine. And it's been very, very dishonest for many, many, many years. Like the year that, I think it was Coty, Twat Waffle. I'm pretty sure it was Coty. Yeah, Kylie has not owned that brand in quite some time. But a lot, like I said, a lot of the people who are on that list have paid to get on that list. All right. So, and I don't know how they do the ranking. I'm not sure. And I'm not saying that this guy doesn't belong on the list. All I'm saying is that when you look at the Forbes top whatever, take it with a grain of salt. It's not necessarily accurate. But I mean, the year that The Rock was chosen as the sexiest man alive, he was promoting Baywatch, and the studio had a huge influence into getting him to be chosen as sexiest man alive. And people were shocked by it. They're like, what? You know, what do you mean The Rock? Are you kidding? But it was a pure promotional tactic for that movie. That's the only reason that he was chosen. He's a very, very big draw in the movie theater, or he was at the time. I don't know if he is anymore, but he was not a popular choice. Let's put it that way. So give me a break. Yeah, give me a break. And it continues along this vein, and then they tell me that I'm a racist. And of course, you know, because that's the fallback, you know, they ran out of arguments. They had nothing left to say, so they decided that instead of countering my points, all points that they made at the beginning of the stream, by the way, they agreed with everything that I said in my stream, but they decided to selectively like scroll over my stream so that they could pick out things that they could nitpick, and all that they did was talk about my looks and how I'm not a mother and how I never had kids and, you know, all of that. And this is Jan, by the way, who likes to lecture everybody about how some 16-year-olds are seductive and how some girls get raped or molested because they're asking for it. I know she didn't say those exact words, but that was what she implied. Like, oh, well, you know, their parents lose control of them and that's how they end up getting into trouble. Okay. It actually reminds me of a quote of Lily Allen's, of all people. I saw this recently on Twitter and I could not believe what I was reading. Apparently, Lily Allen, who is a very, very big proponent of bringing as many immigrants into the UK as possible, actually had the gall to say, I don't remember if it was about Rochdale or Rotherham, about one of the grooming gangs, and she said, yeah, well, you know, the likelihood is that if it hadn't been, you know, a Pakistani man who raped those girls, they would have been raped anyway. That's what she said. That was a direct quote. So there are people out there who, you know, think that way. So anyway, it's just, yes, Amber. I saw that on Twitter and my eyes popped out of my head. I couldn't believe it. And I thought, oh my God, this can't be real. And then I thought, oh my God, it doesn't have community notes. There's nothing. So yeah, Lily Allen, she's a real piece of work. Anyway, okay, you guys, I am done here. I've been on for almost 2.5 hours. I want to thank Negs for buying those memberships. Thank you, my love. I appreciate you. And thank you to the people who joined. I appreciate you too. You guys are very, very appreciated. And thank you so much for being here. I really, really am grateful to all of you. My channel is about to hit 1,100 subs if it hasn't. Well, not my channel, our channel. I'm sorry, Negs. It's our channel, of course. It's about to hit 1,100 subs. If it hasn't, well, let me check. Let me check my YouTube studio. Hang on. Let me see how many subs we have. Ooh, we're so close. We're 1 sub away from 1,100. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow, but I may be if I find something fun to watch. And I know that my definition of fun is probably not like yours, but okay. All right, you guys, thank you so, so much. And I will see you guys the next time.